Hey, what's going on, guys? Today is the Superior Strength Coach episode 4, and we're going to be talking a little bit about relationships in fitness and relationships with your clients. We were kind of back and forth on what we wanted to do with today's episode, and Mike just said something that kind of sparked a thought in my head and why we're choosing to do this one today. One of the biggest things that you can have as a problem in this industry is your relationship with your clients. Mike Boyle likes to say that he has a no asshole rule. If you're an asshole, he doesn't want you to be one of his coaches. He'd rather you come in and be a good person. He'll give you the skills and the background to be able to do more with what you're doing. We've had coaches who have come here and they've been fantastic in terms of can they do the nuts and bolts of being a coach, but they don't fit here. They don't have a good relationship with other coaches. They don't have a good relationship with the kids. If I ask my athletes a few weeks into an internship, what's this intern's name? And they have no idea, we have a problem. I'll put Mike on blast right now. Last night, what happened?
Oh, the softball chicks? Yeah, only one of them knew my name.
So only one girl knew his name. We have a team training with us, 12, 13 people. I've worked with them both times. Mike has worked with them both times. And that's the thing. It's not that Mike doesn't have a good way of building rapport, but it's power dynamics of a relationship. In the power dynamics of that relationship, those girls see me as, we got to listen to this guy, right? Mike is a guy who's there and coaching them, but have they developed a relationship to understand where he fits with them? And in that being their first training session, no, not yet. By the end of that day, everybody knew who Mike was. But that is how relationships can be so vitally important. If those girls don't find a connection with him or myself quickly, and they're like, hey, we're going to be here for 10, 12 weeks doing training with you a couple times a week, we might not need to remember your name. We can just call you coach. Now, how many just blank coach faces do they have in their lives? How many times do you have a person who doesn't connect with you, and it's because you don't open up to who you are as a person, and you don't connect that wide to them? What were you just talking about with the relationship?
With clients?
Yeah.
Like one-on-one?
Yeah.
I think there's different stages to a relationship. Like, for instance, we had and I think there's an important to, one, recognizing the stages. You think the AC is going to, like, screw up
Do you guys think you can hear us? I'll turn the AC off.
I don't know. That's not sure. I think there's different relationships, right? Obviously, into building rapport with a client. Like, your first one-on-ones with somebody, you really got to establish, hey, I'm somebody you can trust. I'm somebody that we could, have an open field of communication with, because if you don't, I've had clients, that the whole, 12 weeks I'm working with them, it's just awkward. When I was first starting out, I fucking hated it. And I know they did. They feel like they're wasting their money, and that's not something you want. You want to be able to have these clients for, how long have you had your longest client?
Here or in general?
In general, one-on-one.
7 years.
Like, you want to be able to have that's money for the next 7, which could be for the next decade, for the next 15 years, whatever. So, for instance, we had a coach here who had 2 sessions with somebody and they just didn't connect, and the kid's not coming back now. And obviously, it was one of his first one-on-ones, so that's kind of expected in a way, and it needs to be taught on how to build rapport, and I think it was a good experience for him. But it's just, how do we recognize the different phases of a relationship with the client, and then how do we really improve on them? Another thing we were talking about is, I'm at the stage with some of my clients now where I have clients who are chicks, whether they're my online clients or in person, and they're going in detail, which, for better or for worse, about their monthly, their periods, what's going on with their hormones, and at first it used to gross me out. Obviously, I'm whatever, but now it's it's fucking cool, because I'm realizing these girls are trusting me, they're open with me, and these are things that are affecting their bodies that I need to know. And if you could have that solid relationship where they just totally trust you, they're like, this is what midway through through that sentence, Billy just got a phone call, so we can't start our video, but now we're on airplane mode, so it won't happen again. But as I was saying, I think it's dope that I'm at a point where a lot of my women clients can be open about that, can come to me with emotional issues, guys too, but I mean just like be open about what's going on with their bodies, which I've never had before, and I think that just like established myself with them as like, I can trust this guy, he knows what's best for my body right now, and he knows what's best for getting me to my goals, and I'll just hype on that.
We've had the conversation before. We had an athlete or 7 come in here, and you guys can all feel the tone, and
oh yeah, for sure.
Be like, Billy, we're tagging you in on this.
Yeah, if you're like their longest, you've been with them the longest. I only got hired in the last 8 months. Like I know you have that rapport with them, and what happened was.
I mean, we'll get a little bit into it. I mean, one athlete was having a real bad day, had gotten into a fight with her mom, and she came in, and I just gave her a hug, and I wouldn't stop hugging her, and she's like, everything's fine, everything's fine, everything's fine, and then everything wasn't fine, and she started to cry, and it was good for her, and I think ultimately, like, she became much happier, and like she got to let that stress out, and she knows that we care about her. And I wrote a post weeks before that saying that if you don't have people crying on you every so often, you have to check your relationships with your athletes, and you have to check your relationships with your clients. Some people gave me backlash. They're like, no, you don't need that. And I'm like, listen, it's not a function of need. I'm not chasing like my clients crying with me, but like, when you're dealing with highly emotional situations and people's body and the way they're shaped and their success with their career, all of that stuff's so important to them, and their reality is reality, and if that's that important for them, it's a real issue. And to know that we can be there to help is a soft skill of being a trainer that's so hugely important. And it goes back to retention strategies and things like that. Like, yeah, I have one client, Sabrina, and she's been training with me since she's 12, and she's 18 now. And when we first started working together, she wouldn't talk to me. Like, literally would not talk to me, because she was just afraid of the situation, afraid of me, whatever it was. Now she text messages me at like 11 o'clock at night, like, hey, I did this at school today, and she's at college, and it's amazing because I care genuinely about this girl who I work with, and to have built that connection is awesome. But it's also one of the reasons why we can be successful, is because we can build those relationships.
So what are things that, coming out of the gates, you get a new client, say let's say first couple sessions, let's make some way on first couple sessions after the first block of training, and then first like 6 months of training, right? If we get that far, what's the first couple sessions? What are you trying to do in terms of building rapport and building a relationship with the client?
And I think that this is going to be different for the people out here who work with everyday population versus athletes. For my athletes, I try to figure out what their end goal is. So if an athlete comes into us and they're a baseball player, and let's say they're throwing 90 miles an hour and they're 15, they have higher hopes of being a Division I athlete and ultimately playing pro baseball. So if they are looking to play pro baseball, I want to know what that's about, because I do want to know, hey, this is where that kid's mindset is, so I can check them and be like, hey, you see that guy over there? He's a pro baseball player. Are you doing what he does? Are you taking care of yourself like he does? And I can kind of give that as a reference point. But beyond that, where do they go to school? Like, what do they like to do? What other sports do they follow? What's their fantasy football team look like? I think a lot of it's just being like, hey, what would you be like if you were just talking to one of your friends?
Yeah, and you're trying to establish like a connection or something.
Yeah, like immediately. I'm big on I crack jokes like the first time I meet people. I'm like teasing them and trying to get them to open up, and people come in and cross their arms and they're really like shy about doing everything. And like I'll be like, all right, cool. Hey, hands out of your pockets. I know it's nerve-wracking, but don't worry about it. And everybody will slide their hands out of their pockets. Like, I'm not nervous. And it's like, I've seen, 4,000 people at this point. Like, you're nervous. It's normal. It's fine. It's understandable. From a regular everyday client standpoint, I think the biggest thing is connecting to why they're here and figuring out, like, hey, are you here for fat loss purposes? Well, what are those fat loss purposes? And if you're here and you want to lose weight, why? Is it because you want to compete in a figure competition? Or is it, hey, I just want to look better? Or is it, hey, I have, other emotional things that drive me to want to lose the weight. I have relationship goals that drive me to want to do it. And right, wrong, or indifferent, again, going back to reality is that person's reality, whatever it is, I just want to know so that I can start building from a place that we're all understanding of what they're like, and looking from that situation. I think beyond that is open yourself up. People don't know about you. Like, if it's always just, hey, I want to know everything about you, and they don't know anything about like yourself, like you know about them, but they don't know about you, I feel like that's when they'll stop opening up, because you don't want to give your trade secrets away, and you don't want to give like the real stuff away to somebody who you don't know. We like to do business with our friends. We like to work with our friends, people that we like. So how can they like you if they don't know you? So I think that's a big thing, is trying to show them more of your human side. Like, I think you do that really well with like, hey, I'm over at Swell Taco Drop, and I'm drinking a beer, or having a margarita, and eating food, and like going to a local cigar shop and like trying a cigar. And you show everybody the real, like, hey, this is Mike. Like, this, there's not just this shell.
We don't live in the gym. We're not fucking constantly here. We go out.
I live in this
fucking gym. So going into, you have a rapport with them. A month in, you definitely opened up with them more. What's the long term? And it doesn't have to be a strategy, because I think it happens, naturally in most cases. But what are we seeing? And what are some of the key concepts we're trying to recognize within a relationship that we know is going to last us for a long time with our client?
Well, again, I think it goes back to what we were just saying. Like, make sure they know who you are. Make sure that they're updated, because they'll start asking you, like, hey, what'd you do this weekend? Like, what are you going to say? I coached. Like, I went out here, I tried this. Like, me and my girlfriend have wine club membership stuff. Me and Melissa have wine club membership that we do. And we go out and we have fun doing that, and there's pictures, and we're doing all this other stuff. I get to tell my clients about it, and they enjoy kind of seeing the growth and all of that. I tell them about how the business is doing. I tell them what things we're up to. But also, if you have group settings and you have kids like we have in a group setting, connecting them, I think creating a community, creating that there's an interrelationship between this and this. A kid who comes in and trains at 4 o'clock doesn't see the kid who comes in and trains at 7 o'clock. And because they don't see each other, they don't necessarily know each other. How do you foster that relationship that they do follow each other and they do know that the other person exists? And we have, Jeremy, and like 27 kids will follow him on Facebook because they're just interested in watching his life unfold. And it's funny to think about that, but it connects kids to, the shield, the concept that we're all part of superior athletics.
One of the cooler things I saw this past week was Mike Smith, and if you're watching, what's up, dude? One of our athletes here, baseball player, who's going to actually intern for us this winter. A new kid came in, was just doing the warm-up, obviously, shaky, nervous, whatever. Mike just walked right up to him and was like, what's up, Mike? Man, my name's Michael here, blah, 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 what do you play? And started going at it with him, and then throughout the whole entire session, was just making him feel right at home. And I think, one, watching somebody do that, and also watching your athletes coach up a newer kid gets me fucking hyped.
It's awesome that they feel that connection, right? Like, when they feel that connection, like, hey, this is my gym, and this is our gym, and because it's our gym, I need to make sure that this kid's on point so that he joins the team and knows what's up. It's that team setting, it's that community setting, and again, that's dope. We have another kid, Remy, who's trained with us for years. Remy is immediately like, hey, try this, hey, try this. Nick Girardi, hey, try this, hey, try this. And both of those guys have kind of, their playing careers have come to an end, but they still show up at the gym and they still work out and they still do stuff. And the younger kids who used to follow their lead still do, but now try to kind of emulate what they had done. I think that's cool.
That's really good.
I think that's cool. Tangible points for you guys. And we want this to be useful information. We don't want this to just be, us talking. Start looking at the softer side of what you do. Make sure you develop skills that aren't just about the X's and O's in the game plan. If you guys watched our mini video, and if you haven't, we'll link to it at the bottom, talking about how to progress your coaching career and do what you're looking for. If you feel like your coaching is not connecting, go to the motivational side and see if there's something that you can explore there that can enhance what you do from a coaching perspective. Because I'm sure that there's some lessons in that zone that will help you. Connecting with people, motivational interviewing, finding out people's why, start with why, Simon Sinek. If you can do those things, you can really start to shape who you want to be, who you want to be for, how you can help them. This video is one of the less technical, and we're not talking about as much science with it, but it's hugely important to keeping people with you and getting referrals and getting all that other stuff. It comes down to the relationships that you build. We're looking over in front of me, and I like to use my mirror in here as a whiteboard. We have 30 athletes up on the board who aren't with us now, but have trained with us in the last 6 months. And those are kids that we want to go after and we want to chase after. But if we don't have a good relationship with them and we didn't build a good camaraderie with them, why would they want to come back, you know? So like, it's not just about getting new people all the time, it's how can you make people want to come back. We have a lot of athletes who have referred other athletes this year. That's because we're doing a good job and we're making a good connection. And I think that's hugely important to how to make yourself successful in a 3-year window is make great relationships in the next 3-month window.
If you guys have watched any of our other things, you know by now, I don't read anything. Like, I'm really bad with books. But the one book I have read and actually finished was How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And that book goes in depth of just how to ask the right questions to get people to like open up to you. And it's not even about like trying to pander towards people. It's like, how do you literally build just genuine connection with people? And if you haven't read it, I know there's the audiobook of it too, so if you're into that, go for that. That's something I would recommend. Do you have any books that you think people should check out, or even videos, anything like that?
Start with why. Like I just said, I think that's a good one. I know that a few different coaches have kind of used that as their own concept of how to build stuff lately. Read it from the source. Don't just listen to us and listen to other people, because we're probably saying things that somebody else has already said better, and just trying to disseminate it down. The biggest thing, we just want to open your eyes to it. And then beyond that, read some books on motivational interviewing. I know that Precision Nutrition and their certification does parts on motivational interviewing and trying to get people to get to their real reason as to why they're doing stuff. I think it can help you from a sales component if you can get people to get to their real why. They might not know. And when you ask powerful questions that lead to powerful answers, you get powerful results. And I think that that's a cool thing. But really just be genuine. Open up, be genuine, and figure that out. Dope.
Yeah, I like this as like a little shorter version of the normal one. I mean, what would this end up being? 17 minutes? Hope you guys liked it. Right?
Hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something. You can watch any of the other episodes. We link them down at the bottom. We also have all the social media stuff that you guys can follow along. And we appreciate it. Look for more content. And again, if you guys have any ideas, shoot us a message, send us an email. You can hit us up on Facebook at Superior Athletics, Instagram, Superior Athletics, everywhere Superior Athletics. And we'd be happy to start answering some questions in video form. All right, everybody, take care, enjoy, talk to you soon.